Trauma is an event where a person experiences a threat of injury or of death, of sexual violence. Now, that threat can be an actual threat or it can be a perceived threat, and that's really important to know that. Traumatic events can involve things like a sexual assault, someone being physically assaulted. It can also involve a serious car accident or a natural disaster.
Trauma is a big word, and trauma covers a whole range of different experiences for people. But we know that there is something very particular about the experience of interpersonal violence and why it is different for people. Well, the victim survivor of an act of violence that's chosen to be perpetrated against you. It's a very personal experience held in your body. But what happens to victim survivors often is part of disclosure is that they are then blamed for what's happened or that it's minimised in some way. The other thing that we know about who perpetrators of violence are is that more often than not it's someone that's known and trusted. So there's the betrayal of the trust and the relationship and the rupturing that happens in that moment. One of the fundamental things to think about in working with the aftermath of trauma and in thinking about working in a trauma-informed way is to really ensure safety as the primary focus of your work. So once you have safety, you can establish that for somebody, you can connect with them. Validating and listening to someone's experience as they understand it is really important to support somebody to make choices and options about what they might like to do next and to facilitate those links if they choose to do so.
Looking at a person's needs through a trauma lens means a number of different things. For one thing, it's looking at the person's presentation. So how they present to you will look very different if you understand trauma. For example, if you have a person that talks to you about having panic attacks, they may feel panicky because they're encountering reminders of the trauma. So a woman that may have been sexually assaulted by a particular type of man may find herself having panic attacks when she sees men that look like her attacker. Another thing that's very important is to understand how a person may engage with treatment or may engage with a service. And it's very easy for a practitioner to see them as resistant or not ready to engage in help or as chaotic because they're not showing up to appointments when in fact they have a very good reason for not doing so.
Having an understanding of trauma-informed practice is really a key thing. When you think about interpersonal violence and experiences of what that is for victim survivors, it's experiences of trauma and responses and reactions to that that affect all aspects of their life. The most important thing in understanding that is to know that quick fixes aren't what happens after trauma, that it can take a long time for people to recover and that support needs to occur over the long term. It's important to keep as much control over decision making as they can. Not everybody who has experienced sexual assault or family violence needs or wants to have professional support. Certainly those options are available there for them. But we know that the vast majority of victim survivors out there don't necessarily have contact with a specialist service. But the important thing for them to know is that those options are available and they can choose to access them in their time and when they want to.
For someone that's been in a traumatic incident, it's very important to be able to provide some practical tools to help them deal with the symptoms they're experiencing as a result of the trauma. So it may be simple things to help them feel more in control of their emotions or to deal better with their relationships, and also to help them have a sense of hope and of the future. So it can be very simple strategies.
There are lots of supports available for frontline workers. Working with trauma can be tough and you don't need to do this alone. There's supervision that workers can have within a workplace. There's spontaneous and formal debriefing processes that can happen. Workplaces often have EAP or external supervision that's available for staff. And there's also the opportunity for people to access secondary consultation from specialist services. What that means is that you can access a worker who's a specialist in the area of sexual assault or family violence, have a conversation with them about some of the issues that you might be facing in the work and get some support around how you might respond in the most effective way and to feel confident in the work that you're doing.
I just want to make sure I have enough battery. Were you going to lead your group today? I want to make sure I have enough battery for it.
I have enough today.
Only if you want to. No
Well, I've had
force.
it done, and I'm just like, at this point, I think I'm just holding on to it, and.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
it is that.
It should make it through. I have 27% battery, so okay. I just wanted to do that thing on trauma. Do you want a computer with it at all, or are you good without?
I can just get to it through my Google, so if I can just do
Yep.
that from the board, if that doesn't require the computer, I'm fine.
Yeah, I think you can sign in right here for Google if that's helpful.
'Cause I don't know if that helps save that. And then D2L, literally, that is wild. Like, I've been trying to sign in since yesterday, and it's, well, I haven't checked it this morning, but it's
Somebody
not
mentioned.
working.
Okay. You are fine though. Yeah, if you want to sign in here and just go at it, then you have the reins and you can just submit like that Google. Well, YouTube link for your.
Mine's not too bad. Don't worry.
Did you do one of the girl circles or were you like?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that, well, I pretty much did it, but maybe
Okay.
a little different.
That's
I
fine.
put my own-
That's good.
So I'm logging in on this computer or this one?
It is the big one.
Okay.
'Cause that is,
I just go to my Gmail.
the only one I'm signed out of is that Microsoft Edge. So if you know all your signed in
Okay.
stuff, it should. You can try and Chrome if it's easier. You just have to sign me out of there.
I'll just do it through here.
So, I can't remember if you went this weekend or not either. Are you going?
To Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I should say that now. Maybe I'll put an announcement. No class Friday because of that.
Oh, yeah, I was like, I don't think we're gonna have class
Yep.
unless he gets creative.
I don't think I'm going to. I feel like a few people are going that are in this class.
I think so.
You know. That's what I've noticed.
I have to go get my phone.
Oh, I heard a buzz over there. That's funny. It's like instantaneous. They're like, go into your.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I feel like if someone's determined, they can probably get around that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I'll grab this piece of paper just in case.
I know they think of things sometimes. You can close it if you want to. If you prefer to be closed, go ahead and close it. Because that way it's not like a pain. It's so hot.
And then I just click it on the computer, not the board, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I chose week 3, expressing myself for the girl circle, and I pretty much went along with the guideline, but I tried to make it my own. So I went with expressing myself. Uh-oh. Okay. So I said, why is it important to express yourself? I said, as hard as it may be, expressing yourself relieves uncomfortable feelings and prevents pent-up emotions from spilling out into your daily life. Not expressing yourself results in repressed important parts of who you are and can cause yourself considerable struggle and lasting mental and emotional pain. Some outlets for expressing yourself is coloring, crafting, dancing, music, poetry, journaling, and talking it out with someone that you're close with, so a friend, family, or like a guidance counselor if you're not able to go to family. Um, Coloring, I know that may sound like childish, but I know they have adult coloring books that you can use, and it's a little more hands-on. Personally, I like to like arts and crafts, so not exactly macaroni necklaces, but finding something you like. So like, building a greenhouse or building your own garden or furniture or something like that. And then music is kind of self-explanatory. Just
The coloring, they do the mandalas sometimes.
yeah, I think I did one here.
Okay.
And then that was just like food for thought. So the week 3 activity that kind of correlates with my presentation is poetry. That's the one that I picked out. So expression in poetry, what does it look like? So with the Girl Circle, they kind of give you a poet already, and her name is Esther Kamkar. And her poem is Just Because. And it says, just because I was born in Iran, I am not a belly dancer. I am not a fortune teller. I am not a camel rider. I'm a poet. Just because I am a woman, I don't like diamonds. I don't like to shop. I don't worship credit cards. I love to play with clay. Just because I am a Jew, I don't make a fortune, I don't hate Arabs, I don't believe in an eye for an eye, I remember and give refuge. Just because I am a mother, I am not regretful, I am not a martyr, I am not a fixer, I am a free spirit. She is from California. And so just a little bit more about Esther. So Esther Kamkar was born in Tehran, Iran in 1947. She moved to Jerusalem and then the US and now lives in Northern California. She began writing poems in 1989. Esther grew up in a country where women do not have the same protection under the law as men do, but may feel that in our society, women and girls face unfair and unequal treatment in the workplace and in schools. Esther herself says, my poems demonstrate a large sense of the world. They look outward, directly at injustices and sorrows, and also inward at my private world and the world of my heart. And then that's a picture of Esther. It was actually very hard to find a picture of her. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
She's like, she must not be very well known because there was not a lot of pictures of her.
Well, or she could be also trying to, it's interesting, she's a Jew born in Iran, because that is a Muslim country. Sometimes there's a battle between the two.
Yeah, so maybe
She
not
might
wanting
not
to
want
know.
to-
Yeah, she may not want to like figure out who she is. And so with that, so I kept the original poem by Esther, but in this part of the presentation, it's your own just because. So step 1 is make a list of assumptions that people have made about you based on size, gender, race, etc. Step 2 entails make another list of strong characteristics either you or someone else sees in you. So that examples of that would be a strong person, generous, funny, etc. Step 3, write your own just because with the 4 stanza, just like Esther's poem. Each stanza should end in a sentence, I am a woman. So at the end of her stanzas, it says, I am a poet. I love to play with clay. I remember and give refuge. I am a free spirit. So step 4, lastly, you have 15 minutes to formulate your just because poem. If you need help, please raise your hand and prepare to share after you all have completed the activity. And so I would keep this up for the duration that they're doing their poem. And just, as an example, they have something to go off of, and they can also remember the instructions. So I wanted to put that together so we're not flipping between slides. So after the 15 minutes is over, I just kind of put this together. And at the end, it just says, remember to express yourself. And then if need be, like I said, if we're still on the other slide, we would probably stay there for duration of the group.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a ending piece, something to motivate the girls in the group.
Because I'm gonna rate the just because poems. I feel like I've seen this one before too.
Yeah, I was kind of in a limbo between this one and the labels one.
Yeah.
Only because the activity I had in my mind and the activity they had was pretty much the same thing. And I mean, so is this compared to what they had, but I just tried to like put my own spin on it.
What was
and
the
make it nice.
labels one? Because now I'm curious.
Labels was like the activity or what was it about?
Yeah, like I think the activities. I have done this one before. Somebody led it in like 2019. I've done that one. Now I'm curious to do the labels one.
Yeah, the labels activity was more so like you get like a name tag or a sticker
Mm-hmm.
and you write a label or whatever, like overachiever or lazy or something like that, and you have them wear it. And so you ask them to create a scenario and you have to respond from that point of view.
Okay.
And from what I got from it, it was basically to show you how like minimizing it is and how difficult it is to only speak from that point of view. So if I'm lazy, I'm probably gonna be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing that activity, or
Right.
let's just go home, or it's very limiting to the person and to, I guess, the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that is over, they kind of speak and like, this is how I feel about the label now. And going out into the outside world, I'm not going to give someone else that label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I kind of wonder. I've done the Turan poem before too, and that was 3 years ago. But I wanted to do this one. It's labels because we all do labels. So cool. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
You can share that link for when you had led a group.
And so I just shared this with you on D2L when it's up.
Oh, right. Okay, yes. I got D2L down.
Yeah,
So,
it's something else today.
So yeah, you won't be late, but share that and then the YouTube link. So it was like the video you presented it. So
Okay.
it would be this one, which I may even complete here now. Just because the computer wants to die on me.